Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a review on the team this season, Rodrigo de Paul. We're going to go through the cards, stats, clips, and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on the Serie tots so far. And now, let's get into the video. So guys, the team that I used Rodrigo de Paul in, I played him in the cam spot in that 4-2-3-1. And overall guys, my first impressions, this card, I really do think this is a very decent card and very well-rounded card as well, considering that cam spot too that he can play in. Without further ado though, let's just get into the review. Rodrigo de Paul, 5'10", high-low work rates, right-footed, 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot, 5 games played, 6 goals scored, and 3 assists. Now guys, that's a really decent return for me. 4-star skill is really good. The weak foot, a little bit annoying, guys. I did have to rely a little bit extra on his right foot as a result of that. The high-low work rate's beautiful for an attacking midfielder position. He does have some shortcomings, though we will get into them shortly. In terms of the player details, tried a couple of things on him. I tried a Maestro, tried an engine on him as well. And overall, guys, I feel like there's a couple chemistry styles which we will go into the summary, which will suit this card a little more. In terms of the attribute details, guys, the key pros of the card, 95 acceleration, guys. His boost off the mark is really, really good, especially when he's on the ball. It is a little bit offset by the agility. We'll come back to that in the cons. Overall, I think the agility off the mark is really, really good. His shot power is fantastic as well, guys. Hit the ball really hard and it stays hit as well when he does do that. So it's really nice to have that as well. Finishing is really good too. His dribbling is pretty tight and clean, but there are some lacking parts to it. And his passing range is really good as well, guys. But there is a slight lie in there, I think, with the long pass. I do feel like the long pass is a little lower than what would be suggested on this card. He did have a lot of misplaced passes for me when they did happen to be a little bit longer. In terms of the cons of the card, like we just mentioned, the long pass is something I think that you need to watch out for. The agility and the balance are something as well that really do maybe hold this card back, just in terms of being overall effective in the tight spaces, especially for dribbling. And in general, guys, I think as well that his sprint speed could be a little better too. But other than that, guys, no other cons to speak home of. So now that we've covered that and the traits we've got the finesse shot trait, the long passer, the long shot taker, the playmaker, and the technical dribbler. And having covered all that, let's get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting to some of Rodrigo de Paul's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability in that cam spot and how well he did for me in that creative role to be able to run the cam spot, run the team, and be the creative force in that central role. Now the first thing we'll get into is his pace. Now his sprint speed is a little bit poor, guys, so you do need to be aware of that. However, his acceleration is very good, and his burst off the mark allows him to step past defenders really well, to burst away from turns as well relatively quickly. It is a little bit offset by the fact that he doesn't have great agility, guys. But in general, I found his acceleration really good, and the burst there, just to be able to move away from the defenders quickly, was a really big plus of this card. The shooting on this card, guys, pretty decent actually. I did manage to create a number of chances with him and score a number of goals. With having so many traits as well, it allows me to be able to just take things a little easier with this card than I would normally be able to with a cam. I did notice one thing though, that his shot power is relatively low, so you will need to be fairly precise and good with these finishes as well, just to get the best out of him. In terms of his dribbling, guys, I felt like his dribbling was pretty decent. Now the only two factors in his dribbling which are really poor are his dribbling and his agility and balance. If his agility was a little bit higher, this card would honestly be such a good player, just in terms of his ability to dribble past opponents, his ability to find the space, find the gaps, and create opportunities would be phenomenal. So for me, guys, all of that needs to be taken into account. But overall, I still say that his dribbling is pretty decent, and you have to consider something about this card, guys, is that the price point we are playing this card at, he's only at between 100 and 200k, so for a tots card, relatively cheap and very capable in that role as well. In terms of his passing, guys, his passing was fantastic, and I really did love linking up the play with this card. I was able to give the ball back to him constantly, create opportunities with him, and try and finish them off as well. And now you guys are going to see some of the goals that I got with him and how I was able to finish off chances with him using his quick, tight dribbling and quick burst off the mark to just get really precise finishes in the net with him as well. And it wasn't like they were all easy finishes, guys. You know, some of these are challenging finishes that he puts away, but in general, he still makes it count, even on the weak foot that he has. This one here, a lovely free kick that he sticks into the back of the net, and over, guys, he used that amazing shooting, amazing passing, and amazing dribbling, considering the price point, to stick away the chances that I created for him. The last couple of clips, again, more of the same, picking up the ball out wide, and a lovely finish here with the chip. And this final one, breaking through the lines, managing to slip past a bunch of defenders here, and then getting an opportunity on the edge of the box just to finesse the goal past Schmeichel in the net, and gets a lovely finish. So guys, getting to this final Rodrigo de Paul summary, 122k on the PlayStation, 121 on the Xbox, and 145 on the PC. Now guys, the key pros of the card, I think his shooting is really good, guys. I do think that his dribbling is decent, however the agility and balance and reactions do hold him up a little bit, so you may look to improve that on this card. I think the passing range is really good, the long pass is a little bit iffy, guys, so watch out for that as well. And of course his sprint speed needs a helping hand as well if you want him just to be elite at staying in front of defenders. The recommended chemistry style from me, guys, is going to be a tricky one because, again, we're looking at what could boost the most stats for us, and I'm looking at the engine and thinking that may be the best way to go. It does leave his reactions relatively low, but takes his pace up a little bit, brings his agility and balance up too, and helps his passing out a little more for what it is worth. You could, of course, go with something else as well and play him deeper in the midfield, where he could be using a shadow there. However, guys, I would avoid this because he does have the low defensive work rate. He won't be the best deep in that midfield, so for me, guys, avoid that. Play him further forward and use a chemistry style that will complement a combination of his dribbling, his pace, and his shooting or physicality, whichever you would prefer there. In terms of similar players, guys, I actually think he's really similar to Nabil Fekir. I think Fekir is slightly better than this card, but I still think this card has a lot going for it, maybe in terms of physicality over Fekir, and he does a good job in that midfield of just being an all-around decent attacking player. I wouldn't say he's particularly special, nowhere near as good as a lot of these players on this list here, but still a very decent player nonetheless. In terms of linkability, guys, he's got perfect links to Roberto Pereira there, as well as strong links to other Argentinian players in Serie A, other Argentinian icons too, as well as other players who play for Udinese as well. So loads of linkability in there, guys, especially if you've been completing some of these SBCs or cards along the way. You're able to get your hands on this card. Really is a fantastic player. We won't be doing a price comparison, guys, because the price of this will be dropping quite hard and going up and down over the next few days, so we'll look at that more so in the future reviews. But if you guys want my final recommendation on this card, if you need a cheap Serie A cam to fit into your team that will link into someone like a Dybala or a Gomez or Pereira or Deulofeu as well, who he links into strong link as well, this is a really nice card. I do think he is worth it, guys, and would recommend him to you, again, if you do need that cheap alternative. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button. Thank you all again so much, and I will see you all in a bit.